Good morning, all. This is YouTube Rumble film update for May 28th, 2025. I'm doing a reaction film about the reactors who quote unquote react on the movie IP Man, all four sequels. Now, the movie itself, for those of you who don't know, is centered in the 1950s when China was led by a communist. Okay. According to the history, which we don't even know because the U.S. government and the media want to rewrite history so they can try and fuck everyone up. And then they'll bitch about it. According to the history, at the time, Mao Zedong was heading China. China itself is not a bad place, not a bad country. It's a good country. It's a very progressive country, a lot more progressive than the U.S. The U.S. will never be progressive because it's too stupid to be progressive, not counting the minority or the good. I want to emphasize that so no one's offended. At the time, in the 1950s, the whole entire movie, all four sequels, is based on a documentary of a grandmaster in Kung Fu, Wing Chun. Now, those of you who don't know, there's the student, which is like what we all are in school. Then you have the instructor, who is the teacher. We all have those. We have them from pre-K, kindergarten, all the way up until high school. They get their license through Okinawa and Hong Kong. Now, just to clear things up, according to the U.S. media and the government, Hong Kong is not its own separate country, like the assholes think. Hong Kong is in China. It's the southern province of China. Okay? So don't think that Hong Kong is a separate area. Same area. Okay? After you reach your instructor and your teacher, after you get your license in Hong Kong and China, then you go and you study for another 10 years, 20 years. You reach Grandmaster. Now, your Grandmaster is equivalent, roughly, in the same area as your college professor and your physicist. Okay? Your Grandmaster is basically someone who's roughly equal to a rabbi and a priest. They are the mentors. They are the seniors. They're like the parent. Then you have the pioneer, which is what IP Man was at the time. IP Man was basically your pioneer, just like my mother. She's 83. She's a pioneer to the medical industry since she's 15. Now, in the 50s, things were a lot different back then. They weren't quite in the same kind of school regimen. Now you have pre-K to kindergarten, you have your first to sixth grade, you graduate to sixth grade, then you go into middle school, seventh and eighth, and you have your high school from ninth to 12th. Back in the 50s, they had it different. I don't know how they different, never asked my mother. But at the time, okay, you have your pioneers, otherwise known as seniority. Now that we got all that taken care of, your seniority is your teacher to your grandmaster, your instructor, and your student. They also show reverence to their seniority, just like IP Man, The Legend is Born, where the college kid goes into the store and meets Sir Young Bick, who's a real life pioneer of Kung Fu. Look him up on YouTube. He owns his own studio. And he basically goes through 9 hours a day, give or take. Sometimes it's different. 9 hours a day teaching his students. Now, IP Man, the movie, is basically equivalent to the guy in the store. But back according to the timeline of the movie, which is what I'm getting to, on the serious end of it, IP Man was a guy who basically taught. Now, the serious part, while he goes through life, he has to meet a lot of assholes. Okay, now the first sequel, which is what a lot of these quote unquote commentators, quote unquote reactors, these people who are laughing and carrying on about all these scenes, about them laughing about him kicking everyone's ass. Okay, the serious point that needs to be made about all these black liberals and these white idiots who are laughing over what's going on. Nothing's funny about someone getting their asses kicked. Okay? Nothing's funny about it. It's extremely immature to be laughing about a guy getting his leg broken in half because a communist is controlling Japan at the time. Basically, at the time, what they were doing, you had to be fighting your way to freedom. Nothing's funny about beating the shit out of someone. Like the blacks were laughing in all these films. And all these white people were laughing about all these films. If you were to bring all 4 sequels, today in the current time, like when the third sequel, okay? Third sequel, I find the choreography amazing. Because the way they depict the heat of the moment is educational, okay? I don't want to sound like I'm being so serious, I'm going out of my mind. I'm just trying to emphasize the point. These idiots who are reacting, they're too immature to know what the reality of it is really like. I told my mother one time, because I did a Skype call one time with her, and I'm going to get to the seriousness within the 2-minute time slot that I have left. I said to her, Ma, there's a lot more to it than these action scenes. And what a lot of assholes on the internet don't realize. Take your current time. Okay, the way the government's going. You have to, unfortunately, disable a couple of people in order to survive. That's what these black asshole niggers don't really realize. And yes, I'm going to say the word because they call that to each other all the time. Picture yourself, you're sitting in your living room, and a couple of the 23 million criminals that just walked up this past New Year's because of Biden, they break through your front door, and they go to attack and to rape your wife. Unfortunately, you have to break a leg in half and dislocate a couple of shoulders and shoot a couple of people in order to survive. Wing Chun is about self-defense. Start getting lessons in it. Because right now, the way things are going, you're going to need to have self-defense because the cops don't give a fuck. The government doesn't give a fuck. And the media doesn't give a fuck. So grow up. Yes, the last scene is entertaining. Yes, the scene with Mike Tyson is entertaining. But grow up. Because I guarantee you're going to need a gun and you're going to need some self-defense lessons if you want to survive. I'll see you guys later.